Can you talk a little bit about why it's so important to have the staff on board before implementing Myzone in a facility?
Yeah, and look, I'm sure you'll agree here, Lauren, when I say that any initiative at a club needs to have the staff on board before you roll it out. And we all know this because we've failed before when we haven't done that properly. So Myzone's no different. There's really three components that you need to hit on with your staff. One is the theory, two is the practical, and three is some sales momentum. And if you hit on all of those three aspects, you'll be in a good position.
So you mentioned the 3 points. Can you dive a little deeper into what those points are? Are they steps?
So the three components, the first one is the e-learning, the online learning portal that we have. And the whole idea of that is to educate three different audiences, one being the club management, two being the sales staff, and three being the instructors or the trainers. The e-learning course really takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and each track covers different points. All of them cover the fundamentals, but for example, with the club managers, we show them how to navigate the back end, how to pull a report, how to tag a user as an employee, these type of housekeeping items. For the sales team, we go into how Myzone builds value for the prospect, how it will help them achieve their goals in the long run. And it also goes through some role playing so that they can see in a live environment how selling a belt would work. And the third component with the trainers and instructors, we add a little bit of sports science in there to talk about heart rate recovery and what that means and how to apply that at the end of a boot camp class, how to apply accountability if you're a personal trainer with a one-on-one relationship and your job is to keep that client accountable, how to use the tools to do such. So really it's about building confidence, it's about building self-efficacy with the groups and putting them in a position to win. Beyond that, you've then got the staff challenge. This is the practical side of it. So you've done the theory, now it's time to do the practical. And this is where you can stack rank them and, well, not stack rank them, but you can put them in a challenge and say, guys, we're launching in a month, but between now and launch, we're going to run a staff challenge. And guess what? The bottom half of the leaderboard has to buy the top half of the leaderboard a Starbucks coffee, and the loser has to buy the winner lunch. It could be something as fun as that. Or you may just want to get $100 and put it in the pot and say, okay, there's a leaderboard, and for every 100 points you earn a raffle ticket into that draw. So there's different fun ways of doing it to get the staff involved and to give them that practical that I talk about. Once you've got the theory and the practical down, then you want to move on to the pre-sale of belts. And it's less about selling belts and it's more about building the confidence with the staff. So if you go out to the staff and say, hey, look, if you sell 3 belts in pre-sale to 3 of your favorite members, then you get to keep your belt for free. So the employee now has an incentive to sell 3 belts. They get to keep their belt for free. You as an operator get to leverage 20 staff and therefore get 60 belts out there into the population, so therefore build some sales momentum with it. And from a membership perspective, the early adopters are the ones who are, feel privileged to get their hands on the belt in the first place, and therefore will be in a position to be proud to tell others in the locker room and in the cafe and having a protein shake how wonderful Myzone is. So it works really well, and if you cover on those 3 key components, you will have a robust launch. If you miss one of the 3, then it will be a diluted launch. So I encourage everyone to hit on all 3 of them. And we've got 3,000 clubs around the world now, and without any question, it's the clubs that onboard well that launch well. And if they don't onboard, then they really do handicap it for themselves.
You're going into a little bit, but can you talk just a little bit about the incentive that staff has using this belt and giving it to the people that they're training on a daily basis?
Okay, at the pre-sale stage, the incentive really is, hey, if you can sell X amount of belts, you get to keep yours for free. So that's the financial incentive, which would be extrinsic incentive. But intrinsically, you want to position it so you're helping that staff member achieve whatever it is that they do. If they're a one-on-one private trainer, it's about elevating the value of that product. If they're a boot camp instructor or some form of Group X instructor, it's enhancing what they're doing there. And if they're a salesperson, they're not wanting to sell something extra, they're wanting to position the original pitch in an enhanced way, and if you can show them how it helps them do that, then they can run forward with it, and that will be their true incentive.
Have you noticed implementing staff challenges will help get the staff more familiar with the product and know it better to show everyone else in the club as well?
Yeah, they do, and this is the key thing about staff, particularly the trainers and instructors. These guys are intrinsically motivated to exercise. You could take them out of the gym and place them on the other side of the world, and they would wake up tomorrow morning and go and do a workout. It's part of their identity. It's part of who they are. They believe it. However, the gym members are not necessarily that way inclined. They need a lot more extrinsic motivation to get going. That vacation that's coming up, that school reunion that's coming up, all these extrinsic factors to get them to move more. And Myzone really is about extrinsic motivation, that feedback to keep motivated. And in an effort to help the staff feel that, by doing a challenge and making it about friend versus friend, and having a little bit of money, whether that be $5 for a Starbucks coffee or $100 in the pot, it creates that level of extrinsic reward, and they can feel what the members are feeling when they're in that sort of situation as well.
As a club operator, are there other steps that I should be on the lookout for when I'm implementing Myzone in my facility?
You know what? What I'm going to say is this. If you can focus on the three things that we've just gone through, you're going to win the launch. I wouldn't worry too much about adding more complexity to it. Just hit on the theory, hit on the practice, get the sales momentum, you're good to go.